Old business, the middle school principal position. I guess this is, the board will need to provide direction regarding whether the middle school principal position will be posted or withdrawn. I'll refer to Senate File 81. I think there's furthermore discussion on this. I think we're leaning right now towards filling the position. We'll know more when Senate File 81 is more set in stone, I guess. But as of right now, we're moving forward with posting the position.
With some newer understanding of some things, I'll make a motion to post that position.
Okay. It's been properly moved and seconded to post the middle school principal position. Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Weston County School District number 1 meeting to order. Okay. First thing on the agenda, need an executive session for Wyoming State Statute 16-4-405A, little a, little I, little x, and Wyoming State Statute 16-4-405, little I, to consider appointment, right to practice or dismissal of public officer, professional person, or employee, and to consider receiving information classified as confidential by law.
Move.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to enter executive session under Wyoming State Statute 16-4-405, little a, little I, x, and 16-4-405, little I. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Getting back to order. Can I have, Kim, would you lead us in pledge allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you for that. I do have an agenda in front of me. I do have one amendment
You just laid it down. Where'd it go?
under section 3, new business,
I just had my amendment.
A, part A.
Here it is. Good evening. I do have a change, Mr. Chair. Under new business,
Section
the first section, we'll put this at the beginning of the section. Because of following our last board meeting and further discussion this evening, it was decided to offer the high school agriculture teacher a part-time position. However, Ms. Lupp was not interested in a part-time role. After further discussion, budget considerations, the board recognizes the importance of agriculture, welding, and mechanics programs to our student community. Accordingly, the position will be offered as a full-time role and extended to Ms. Lupp if she is interested. Should Ms. Lupp choose a different path, the position will be posted as a full-time opening.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Mr. Chair, I have one
Oh.
other request. On old business, could we vote on
Oh, yeah.
these individually, please?
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
And that's all, thanks.
Okay. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'm moving
Okay.
it.
Been properly moved and seconded to amend the agenda as read. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Visitors' comments. Do we have any visitors' comments? Or sorry, recognitions. I jumped the gun. Do we have any recognitions?
Yeah. Kim does.
Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, Board. I just wanted to recognize the Transportation Department, Adam and Jessica. Last week, they trained our driver's ed students on vehicles for changing out tires, looking at liquids, all of those kind of things, and they did an amazing job, and I just want to recognize them for their volunteer time for that.
Thank you. Is there any other recognitions? Go ahead, Brandy.
Thank you. I do have a few. First of all, I'd like to recognize Connie Heeb for setting up our book fair and doing that every parent-teacher conference. This last round, they earned $9,200. And if you remember, this is what funds our Waikiki trip. So we appreciate that. And she also wanted me to make sure we recognize Gigi Fullerton, Dilly Marchant, Becky Owens, Cami Lopez, and Courtney Hemrick, because they all helped kind of set it up and run it. And then we also had a couple student helpers help us this year, Teresa Lamb and Ava Malsum. So thank you to all of them. I'd also like to recognize the good citizens, Lincoln Callgrove, Mason Washburn, and Cooper Castor for this month. And then on behalf of all three buildings, thank you all for furnishing the meals for parent-teacher conference. That does mean a lot to staff because those are 2 long nights. So
Thank you.
that's it.
Is there anything? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to recognize Sarah and Ryan Whipple for taking the band and choir kids, 78 of them, down to Denver for the weekend to Phantom of the Opera. Would like to recognize the chaperones for their due diligence and helping them make that happen, and the bus drivers, because one of the bus drivers was a last minute morning thing. So,
Thank you, Tyler.
Yep, I would recognize Haley Hemrick and the Double Aces Drama Club and all the students involved. They did a really nice job with the Wizard of Oz last night. I think everybody really enjoyed it, and just really cool to see the kids in that light. And then more mathlete wins for us, so please celebrate Mrs. Marty and her Math Counts team. They competed in Gillette today. We had a team of Theron Seidner, Isabel Parsons, and Anna Dean win their team division, and Mr. Theron Seidner, who you've heard of before, was the 8th grade champ over in Gillette today. So cool stuff.
Thank you. Go Hawkeyes.
Go Big Red.
Okay. Does anybody else have any recognitions? Go ahead, Brandy.
Actually, this isn't a recognition, but I just received a text that I am supposed to correct that Sarah does not deserve recognition for the trip. She did literally nothing. It was all Ryan, but thank you.
Okay. Is there any other recognitions? Go ahead, Bryce.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I'd like to recognize Kyan Allen for being selected to the 3A Boys All-State basketball team. And then next, the FBLA competed at State FBLA, and bear with me because we were very successful. The students were state placers, and then they qualified for nationals this summer in San Antonio. First place in an individual event was Annika Olson. Second place in a group event was Addison Fitzwater and Annika Olson. Callie Christensen placed first in 3 individual events. Callie Christensen, Reagan Redding, and Hannah Alexander placed first in their event. Reagan Redding was third in her individual event. Ashlyn Schroyer and Delaney Driesen participated in 2 events together, taking first place in one event and fourth place in the other. Colin McConkey and Cole Erb took second place in their event. Colin McConkey, Cole Erb, and Rook Herberg placed fourth in another team event. An all-freshman team of Country Liggett, Lily Patterson, and Han Alexander took fourth place in a group event. Rook Herberg took fourth in an individual event. Gilberto Martinez Chavez and Christine Swenteski took first place as a pair. And Presley Fitzwater, Lily Morrill, and Kendall Vaughn placed first in their event. So a very successful FBLA state convention.
Thank you, Bryce. Okay, go ahead.
I just would add on that 17 out of 17 Newcastle FBA projects are going to nationals. That's pretty amazing. People rarely bat 1,000, and these kids really did. And I say extra points for the burgundy dresses that the Fitzwater girls had too.
Okay, so also want to say something off of that comment. I have gone to state FBLA and national FBLA all 4 years now, and we have truly never had most of our chapter places every year to go to nationals, but we've never really taken home this many first and second place titles. Like we really did an outstanding job in a lot of our events this year, so that was really, really exciting that we all got to walk the stage and do all that. So kudos to Miss Engel and all of her work in pushing us to, get our projects done and actually compete at something. So yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So Sarah, this one is actually for you and not Ryan. Would like to thank you for your wonderful foreign exchange student program. There was a thank you that went out to somebody else a couple weeks ago, and we apologize for that. And we really appreciate you for doing that, not only community-wide, but I understand you're involved statewide. So thank you. You've made a difference in a lot of lives.
Go ahead, Joe.
I would like to recognize the community, classmates, everybody. I got to attend a chili feed this weekend for one of our students, and I think the impact that this community has and how this community comes out and people that really step up for people who are in need, it's pretty impressive to watch firsthand. So, I mean, the students that were there, I really do thank them and the community.
Thank you.
I'd like to recognize the food service staff. The Weston County Cowbells had lunch at the school. And I heard really good things. So thank you.
Is there any other recognitions? Okay, now we'll move on to visitors' comments, special programs or staff input. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
I think it's important not only for the district, but for the public and stakeholders to understand that what we're doing is a fluid thing. We were given a number, but it's not an exact number. We're trying to work within a boundary that we have no idea what that boundary is. So, when there may be things where we go through and we're riffing some things and then we're coming back and doing something different. Again, I think it's just important that people know that we're just trying to work within things that we have no idea about. The state isn't giving us any guidance on this. And so I know it's tough to be in that position, but just bear with the board and, we're trying. So.
Yeah, thank you for that, Jason. And you will see in discussion items, we will discuss the Senate File 81 a little bit more of the impact. So, okay, is there any other visitor comments? Okay, we'll move on to E, action items.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to accept the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes. 2, old business, administrative contracts, and like I said, we'll vote on these individually. So if we just say that, we'll just go down the list, first name.
Superintendent LaCroix's recommendation to the board would be to approve the administrative contract for Brandy Holmes for an additional school year.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the contract for additional school year for Brandy Holmes. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Superintendent LaCroix's recommendation to the board would be to approve the administrative contract for Bryce Hoffman for an additional school year.
Approve. Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded for the recommendation to approve Bryce Hoffman as high school principal for contract another year. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Superintendent LaCroix's recommendation to the board would be to approve the administrative contract for Sonia Tisdale for an additional school year.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Okay, it's been properly Moved and seconded to accept the recommendation for Sonia Tisdale for another contract for another year. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Superintendent LaCroix's recommendation to the board would be to approve the administrative contract for Taryn Olson for an additional school year.
Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to the recommendation to give Taryn Olson a contract for another year. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Paul.
I'll be abstaining from this vote.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion failed.
Superintendent LaCroix's recommendation to the board would be to approve the administrative contract for Taylor Bergelli for an additional school year.
So move.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the recommendation to give Taylor Bergelli a contract for another year. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. We'll move on to old business, the middle school principal position. I guess this is, the board will need to provide direction regarding whether the middle school principal position will be posted or withdrawn. I'll refer to Senate File 81. I think there's furthermore discussion on this. I think we're leaning right now towards filling the position. We'll know more when Senate File 81 is more set in stone, I guess. But as of right now, we're moving forward with posting the position. Is there any discussion on that?
Again, Mr. Chairman, with what I said earlier, with some newer understanding of some things, I'll make a motion to post that position.
It's been properly moved and seconded to post the middle school principal position. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor. Go ahead, Joe.
I just question if we, I hate to hold off for too long, but a better understanding of what Senate File 81 has to say. I'm definitely with the board. I'm just, everything that we're going to discuss Senate File 81 further later on tonight, but I don't know, do we want to post that now? Is that something we want to look forward to, please?
It is budgeted in the instructional
Yeah.
silo for
And-
a principal for each building.
And just because we post it doesn't mean we'll move forward with posting it. We can hold off on hiring until we get a better understanding, but we want to get the position posted. And just because we post it doesn't mean we'll move forward with posting it. We can hold off on hiring until we get a better understanding, but we want to get the position posted. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Move on to 3, new business. You can just,
I think I got it.
Okay.
The recommendation to the board is to offer a full-time ag welding instructor position for the 2026-27 school year to Ms. Lepp, and if declined, to post the position.
okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to, what Bryce said, to make the full-time position, offer it to Ms. Lepp. If she declines, we will post the position. Is there any discussion? Go ahead, Jason.
Again, Mr. Chairman, going forward with some more understanding of some of the budgeting stuff.
Okay.
So,
Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion passes. Okay, move on to B, classified resignation.
Don't we, the table, or we didn't eliminate A completely, or did you consider that a total replacement?
I consider that a total
Okay.
replacement,
Sorry,
if that
we're
works.
clear then.
Yep.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, move on to B.
There's a recommendation to the board to approve the classified resignation from Chelsea Fisher as a special education paraprofessional and to post the position.
I'll make a motion.
It's been properly moved and seconded to accept the recommendation for the resignation of Chelsea Fisher as special ed para and to post the position. Any discussion? Go ahead,
Thank her for,
Mike.
thank her for her work in the department.
Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Move on to C.
The recommendation to the board is to approve the early graduation request from Caleb Stroh.
Approve?
It's been properly moved and seconded to recommend to the board the early graduation request. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like a little more input from the principal. I mean, we have the student's letter, but
Student explains it very well in the letter. I feel working with the family, we can develop a plan that gives him that opportunity, and then it's on his motivation and skill set to meet those expectations by the desired date.
thank you.
Thank you, Bryce.
Mr. Chair.
ahead.
We might recognize the young man. He's in the back room. One of the few times they show up.
That was gonna be my other
Follow.
question is, do you have anything else you'd like to say?
You gotta speak into a mic if you do, though. Okay,
No, he says no.
all right.
Thank-
Any
thank
other,
you for
any
being
other
here.
discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Go get him.
Move on to D.
The next recommendation to the board is to approve the early graduation request from Damian Ankeny.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second to accept the recommendation for the approval of early graduation for the student stated above. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Moving on to E.
The next recommendation to the board is to approve the early graduation request from Kendrick Blumenthal.
Approve?
Okay, it's been properly moved and second to accept the recommendation for the early graduation of the student listed above. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. F.
There's a request to the board to combine bus routes from 8 routes to 7 routes.
Move to approve.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to request the bus routes to combine bus routes 8 routes to 7 routes. Is there any discussion?
Just for the meeting's sake, could you talk a little bit about which route is sort of being eliminated or
Okay, so
sort of how you adjusted the pattern?
sure, like
Thank
over
you.
over Christmas, I was asked to make an adjustment in routes because of the number of drivers that we have. As you guys know, we're always short drivers. So over the course of Christmas, I combined routes and tried to figure out the best way to reduce the routes. So what we did is we took Route 10 and we took all the stops on Route 10 and added them to Route 2, 4, 6, 7, and 8 to make things work. As far as time wise, there's minimal time difference at the middle school, high school. At the grade school, there will be 3 or 4 minutes difference, but we believe we can make it work.
Thank you,
That
Troy.
sounds really good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other?
What's the combined total for that bus or route now?
So what do you mean?
The number of kids?
Route 10 varied between that's a good question because it varies so much, it's really hard to tell you.
No, you're
Some days there's, 10 or 15, sometimes there's 20 or 30.
okay.
Okay, thank you, Troy. Is there any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Move on to director's reports. Bo, you got anything?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, I don't have anything unless you have questions for me.
Okay. Does anybody have questions for Bo? Okay, we'll just move to Adam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Making headway on the chiller HVAC project. Other than that, I don't have nothing unless you guys got questions. I can dive further in if you want, but we're making progress.
Any questions for Adam? Okay, move on. Tyler, you got anything?
Nothing to report unless you got questions.
Does anyone have questions for Tyler? Brandy, you have anything?
I really don't have much. I was just going to let you know our conferences went well again. We had a 98% turnout, which is great. And I think our book fair tends to bring some of them in. So, and then I shared kindergarten registration numbers with you so far. We'll keep trying to recruit. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Brandy. Troy, you have anything?
I don't have anything unless you guys do.
Okay. Any questions for Troy? Sonia?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Just a few things just to update. Nothing really new, but we do have a new K-12 literacy statute that is put into law now. So where we had K-3 that we've been working on for the last several years, now it has become K-12. So more questions and answers on what some of those logistics mean. Definitely we'll have to have a district literacy plan. Right now we have a K-5 plan. So whether that be a separate secondary one or just one combined, we'll figure that out. But definitely becoming more systematic with screening, instruction, intervention, progress monitoring, just looking at really all of those things to make data-driven instructions is a requirement now. There was no additional funding put into that specific bill. So there is profession development requirement also, which that was one of my main concerns, because the systems that we have put in place right now without anybody telling us to met most of these. We have to clean up some things, but not a lot of them. But profession development wise now, I can't spend any single federal funding on literacy to meet the minimum requirements for that because of that. So there's that to figure out down the road. So there's another add to the budget that is a requirement that has to come from somewhere. So stay on the standard front. There's 3 sets of standards that are in motion right now. ELA, CTE, and then social studies are all kind of in committees. CTE is almost done. I think they're ready to be almost brought to the State Board of Education so we can get a look at them and see a draft of them. I did get to see a draft. They're very, very similar to what our graduation standards are from Profile of the Graduate. So I think those all line up very well. And then the administrative team and I will be working on updating our graduation policy to meet the requirements for Chapter 3. So Bryce and I will kind of take the lead on that. And we're meeting next week with somebody. There'll be the beginning of May. We'll have another opportunity to meet with different colleagues around the state just to kind of see what that lens. I think the newest part on that is we have to have a policy in place by November 1st. The ask around the state is that a draft policy can be turned in on November 1st. So if there are changes needed, we don't have to come back as a board to re-adopt the same graduation policy to make tweaks if it didn't meet whatever requirements are now required. So I'm hoping that that's allowable, or they back things up and let us turn it in early so we don't have to keep having, 1 reading, 2 readings, 3 readings to update our graduation policy. And it will be longer because there are more requirements to lay out in there. So anyway, that's kind of the gist. So that's what I have for you tonight, unless you have questions for me.
Okay. Go ahead, Jason.
Mr. Chair, again, another good example of districts trying to cut $1 million, but the state is throwing out more stuff for us to comply with, and yet not fund this stuff that they're requiring us to do.
And I would add to that, from what we were doing, we were already providing that and able to provide that before it got put in the statute. And now it limits us from using all resources available. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions? Angie, you have anything?
I don't really have anything, Mr. Chair.
Taylor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't have anything.
Kim, do you have anything?
Sure. Sorry, I'm just getting ready. So I'm gonna start off on a great note here. It's a personal invitation for all of you to attend our EWC graduation May 1st. It's on a Friday evening. And so we just wanted to invite all of you to attend. We do have one of our graduates here this evening, and in April, I will be recognizing all of our graduates here at one of our board meetings. So you can see all of them. We'll have 4 graduates this year. Then I also wanted to share with you, which you should have a copy of, total college credit hours our seniors will receive by the end of their senior year. Total of 819 credit hours will have been received, with a cost savings of $101,556. So we're pretty excited about those numbers. And the highlighted areas are our students getting that associate's degrees. And you can see that they've received a lot of credit hours earned. The most is 70 hours. So they put in a lot of work with getting all of that college credit. So we're very proud of them. And the last thing I just wanted to share with you on a good note was Senate File 81. And actually, Mr. Hoffman pointed that out to me. And I recently have been in a couple of meetings at college level, but they have earmarked $10 million to reimburse our school districts back for dual credit. So any dual credit we pay out. And that also includes textbooks. I found out today, textbooks and resources, we will be fully reimbursed back, which will be huge savings for us. So we're very excited about that information.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? You were first. You're last.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
I spoke to JD Williams about this program several times because I was worried about it still being here. And he's been really supportive of this. If I get you his email address, would you send him this that you gave us? Because I'm sure he'd like to see it.
Oh, I definitely can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great job.
Bryce?
Yeah.
Sean.
I have a question on DOT.
Yes.
Would that pay for the DOT program they're bringing in?
So that is something I'm going to try and clarify. I think they're still trying to fully finalize everything. When I talked to the VP today, she said there's going to be a lot of rules that's going to come through this file. So that is one thing I will clarify. But I was over in Upton today and had a good conversation with the high school principal there. And he just said now that frees up our dollars, that if we cannot utilize the money out of this, that we could possibly take a look at utilizing the money out of our BOCES budgets now, because that will free up our dollars there. So that could be a backup possibility. But yes, we will definitely look into that. I think if it gets categorized under dual credit, I don't think there should be any questions there where it should get funded there. but we will definitely get that clarified.
Okay. One more question too. I visited with the DOT program with Ed quite a bit. He's been to my office twice. One thing that they are having an issue with is a parking lot big enough to teach these kids. And I know there must have been an issue or something said that we can't paint on over here on the parking lot. So now we got to resort to gravel. They're going to have to paint it. But the problem is they have to get it certified by the state.
Right.
So we're going to be out there painting on dirt, have a state person come up and show them that we're going to teach or have classes or testing on dirt because for some odd reason we can't use our parking lot. That's from what I understand.
And so I just want to let people know that there's money involved for all of us. And what we really owe you, the people, whether we're elected officials, whether we own a media company that accepts them, let's face it. I mean, advertising dollars, when it used to be advertising dollars that drove local media, those people, I mean, I've had a lot of advertisers pull their money from the Newsletter Journal because and I knew they were gonna. Because editorials I wrote, I mean, God, when I went after the fair board, I lost advertising right and left over that. I lost advertising over the hospital board thing a few years ago. Every time we write an editorial challenging something in Weston County, we stand the chance to lose dollars. And so now taking in donations really doesn't make it any different.
And show them that we're going to teach or have classes or testing on dirt because for some odd reason we can't use our parking lot. That's from what I understand.
Yeah, and I think Mr. LaCroix, had concerns about the permanent paint that they would have to use. I think they normally do use a certain kind of paint, and that was a concern because, you know, since it is a parking lot over here and then it would be marked up. But I think Ed is looking into different alternatives there since we had mentioned that to him.
Yeah, everything he's found is a gravel or dirt.
Right.
So if it rains, we're going to get a semi stuck. So I'm just saying what's good for kids. We're going to teach them how to chain up right away and test. Or can we find a parking lot in town that they can test on? So.
Right. I agree.
I didn't see him raise his hand. I was going to give my report is what I was. Okay. Are there questions or more questions? All right. Yesterday, the juniors took the ACT. That's the required state exam at the 11th grade level, college readiness exam for testing on Wyoming standards, which aren't the same, but just that's what they take the test on. All of the juniors showed up, took the test. Some walked out, I think, feeling good, and some, less good, and that's kind of how that goes. The other thing that I wanted to share with the board with restructuring in the science department, we've met with that team, and the plan going forward is we're going to change the structures of our class a little bit. In integrated, what we're going to do at the 9th grade and 10th grade level, instead of physical science and environmental science, the classes are going to be called Integrated Science 1 and Integrated Science 2. In both of those classes, they're going to embed and assess all of the state required science standards in those first 2 years. And so what that allows us to do is it allows us to have flexibility in that third year. In the science class, that'll be required for all juniors. And then all of the elective science classes will be renamed Applied Sciences. And so, for example, if you signed up for a class in the past called Anatomy and Physiology, that's going to show up as applied science on your schedule if you're a senior. And so when you take that class, you are going to be in a grouping of mixed grade levels. It could be juniors and seniors in there. But since all of the required standards have been exposed and assessed at the freshman and sophomore level, it gives them flexibility to do some personalized learning in those in a project-based, student-centered environment where the students are going to build projects much like their STEM projects that you may be used to in their regular science classes. They're going to be able to build projects based around standards, and then they'll earn credits in different areas. So if they put together a great project based around that falls in line with several chemistry standards, and it really meets those, then they'll get chemistry credit at the end of it. If they choose a lot of life science, biology standards, at the end of the class, that applied science standard would turn into a biology credit, if that makes sense. And so we're trying to leverage the RIDE program that they've been participating in the last few years to come up with a creative solution of having less staff members. And just kudos to those guys for being open-minded and really want to still provide a diverse opportunity for students. Because when we were initially looking at it, what it was doing, it was creating a bunch of single section courses in the master schedule. And when you're making a master schedule, if you have a single section course, it's kind of a schedule killer, because if you get too many single section courses in a master schedule, they overlap each other. And if a kid wants to take anatomy, but that's the only time trigonometry is offered, then they kind of have to choose. And you think, oh, just move it, right? Well, once you move that, then you got to move something else, you got to move something else. And so this applied science approach, I think, is going to allow for that flexibility to still provide a lot of opportunities to our students. And so I just wanted to let you know something we've been working on with Mrs. Tisdale, Mrs. Gregory, and the science team. So
Thank you, Bryce. Same questions? I forgot, we don't have anybody on Zoom, do we, with the report? Okay. Presley, did you want to give your student report? Okay, Taryn, do you got a report? Okay, go ahead, Presley.
Okay, so just another congratulations to our FBLA crew that got to go. If anybody's coming to the smoothie stands tomorrow, I mean the track meet, also come to the smoothie stands. So good luck to all of our spring athletes as competitions roll around this weekend. And so golf will start up next week, depending on how well the weather is and how well the courses around the state stay. Congratulations to Callie and myself. We both made it as semifinalists in FFA job interview. And so we get to go compete on Saturday with, I believe it's the livestock and agronomy team. They're going to go down for a practice competition in Casper. And then we'll compete in the semifinals to hopefully punch our ticket to compete at state. And so just a big shout out to our FFA chapter as they're continuing around traveling. I'm sure you guys have seen all the Facebook posts. Our livestock team just did a really, really great job in Riverton. And so state is less than 15 days away. So it should be pretty exciting that we get to go down there and hopefully take some titles home for our chapter. Other than that, I don't really think there's much going on. Proms rolling around, end of the school year, stuff of that sort. So, yep.
Does anybody have any questions? Okay, do we got any committee reports?
No, I don't. I'm not a committee.
No. Okay.
Board member report.
Yeah, board reports.
Okay. I got to have some fun judging for state FFA. I think I judged 17 or 18 projects. Some really fascinating stuff, things, and these are from kids from all over the state. Interesting things like how much food are we wasting in a cafeteria? Which foods are getting wasted? Why aren't kids eating them? I thought that was a really timely and interesting project. All the way from there to testing a couple kinds of chapstick for efficacy, up to the microbiology of rice rinsed water used as a substrate when doing home fermentation. I had to go. I went back to microbiology class for a little while in order to judge that person's paper. So it was really impressive and it's really fun. And if If anybody's ever interested, they have a great rubric for their judging. So let me know next winter and I'll get you on the list because it's really fun.
Thank you. Jason?
The only thing we have really for BOCES is we added for the co-op as 6 new vendors to that. And then this kind of old business, not only does BOCES have to follow state regulations, we also have to follow DFS guidelines and regulations, and we passed our audit on that a while ago, but
Thank you. Dana, did you have one? Okay. Is there any other reports? Okay, we'll move on to future agenda items.
Go ahead, Joe, go first. 'Cause mine's long.
For future agenda items, pending what is discussed in the Eastern West County Recreation Board later, I would like to, depending on what's discussed there, might want to look at
Oh. So mine is to follow up on Senate File 90. It definitely means that we are going to need to, we can have one fee schedule until July 1st, but this is effective July 1st and it includes the following. I'm going to read a little bit of it to you so you have an idea, but it's Senate File 90 Enrolled Act 36. You can look it up either way. Any rental fees charged by the district for use of school district property by youth clubs and activities not sponsored by the district shall not exceed the hourly rate of personnel, equipment, utility, and supply costs actually incurred by the district for the specific use of the property during each rental period, limited to direct incremental costs that would not otherwise have been incurred. Nothing in this paragraph shall be construed to require the district to charge any fee, and the district may permit use without charge. Upon request, be supported by an itemized statement identifying the district's personnel, equipment, supply, and utility costs incurred for the specific use of this property. The itemized statement shall be provided not more than 15 days after a request is made. We shall not require a youth club or activity not sponsored by the school district to maintain a formal legal status as a nonprofit or any other specific corporate status as a prerequisite for the use of school property under this paragraph. So we're going to have to figure out what each hour of electricity costs in a gym. It is burdensome beyond belief, and the fiscal note allows no funding for us to hire someone to figure out what all the costs are of our soap and our paper towels and how many every flush that is made during use of our property. And so that will definitely affect rec district, but we will have to have Abby look at that for us. Thank you.
Okay, Jason?
Sorry.
correct me if I'm wrong, isn't there something about damages and things like that also? Was there something in there about that?
Yeah, I didn't see anything that addressed damages, so I'm assuming there can be a caveat in the lease that I'm guessing the idea would be that they would pay the exact cost of damages, which is what we would ask them to do anyway. So I didn't see that addressed in there.
Is there any other future agenda items? Okay, discussion items, Senate File 81. I think we've talked about that several times. I don't know if we need to keep revisiting that.
Mr. Chair, I don't know, again, we can get 1 million people in a room and we'd probably all come up with different interpretations. Is there, or could we look at, or would the board entertain some type of workshop or something along those lines with WDE or WSB to kind of, I know, but again,
Do you want to answer that?
Jason, I don't think that's will happen. They don't know what they're doing. They said they'll be working on it for till December. So they hope to get the 100A out, should be out by July 1st. Hopefully they'll start giving us some direction and
again, it's frustrating that we are ultimately affecting the lives of district employees on information the state can't even freaking answer. They throw this crap out there and they say, you districts deal with it. And when we ask for guidance, well, we don't know. So I've said it a couple times during this meeting. This is horse crap.
Yep. Okay.
you've got right.
Go ahead.
I would say this article, Senate File 81, a closer look at recalibration and the challenges, choices, and consequences now facing Wyoming school districts. That's a good one to sit down for 15 minutes, 20 minutes by yourself and read. I think that does give some good information that is helpful to understand it, especially if you haven't been following the process from start to finish. If you're a numbers person, there's a Excel spreadsheet that you can't copy and paste, you can't download, you can't manipulate, you can't do anything to it, but you can open it and read it. And it's extensive, but it's on the Wyoming Legislature website under the School Finances tab. If you open that spreadsheet, you can see some of the numbers that are attached to Senate File 81, and I think that's helped me gain an understanding of it, or what I think I understand about it. So I think that's a proactive thing we can do.
Okay. Thank you, Bryce.
And I apologize, Mr. Chair. I forgot something to say under board reports, in that as of today, there is a new candidate filing for State Superintendent of Public Instruction. His name is Chad Auer, and he worked for the department. He just quit his job as Education Policy Advisor to Governor Gordon. So there is now another candidate.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Is there any other discussion items? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, guys.
The new store. This is the one-stop shop. We have a pharmacy. We have a bootlegger's liquor. The deli, the food that you can get at a lunchtime is so amazing. The coffee shop. Certain Friday mornings, there's 30 people sitting here in all these chairs. This is the hub for people to come and visit, have their coffee, have their donuts. It's amazing what this area has done. Totally amazing.
Eastern Weston County Recreation Board to order. You have an agenda in front of you. I do want to make sure everybody's aware with this agenda. We do have quite a bit to discuss, specifically around discussion items, and we'll have a couple more things to discuss too as well. So do I have a motion to approve agenda? Been properly moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion on the agenda? All those in favor?
Nope.
Yes.
Wait, Mr. Chair, I thought we were gonna discuss the things you emailed us.
Yeah, it kind of all goes around.
So it's just
This
discussed, though,
policy
it's
as
not
well.
to approve those? That's what I want.
Yes.
I misunderstood. Thank you.
Yes, my apologies. All right, is there any other discussion? Been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved. Do we have any recognitions? Seeing none, moving on to visitors' comments, staff input, and special programs. Is there any visitors' comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to action items. E, you have a consent agenda in front of you. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Been properly moved and seconded. First off, is there any discussion on it? Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Consent agenda is approved. Have no old business or new business. So we'll move on to F for your information. I don't know if we want to loop F and G together because they're kind of together, but I'm going to turn the floor over to you.
She said thanks.
So last time I had put forth, well, I guess it's been over a month, just with the code of conduct and such. And Abby gave me a draft. I made a few changes on it just because the pool and the weight room are totally different. So one thing I struck off it was not allowing any elementary kids in the weight room because parents don't watch them, and I don't want them to get hurt. And then I pulled up some Wyoming like pool, which is the Department of Agriculture. They manage it, but their thing is 9 and older to be alone at the dropped off at the pool. And I don't know if we really ever had a guideline to do it, but so I included that in that code of conduct and the waiver. But I made a bunch of copies of waivers and code of conduct, and we've had, I think in the waiver, I haven't rolled it out in the pool yet, but I think like 70 people sign it, and people are paying now. I just wanted to make sure you guys were okay with that, because I do want to end up putting it out like on Facebook and just all the places to get it out to the public.
I'll come to you, Jason, but I do want to add this. Based off of our discussion, one of the reasons why we feel it's important to get this code of conduct and the waivers out early, because we do have, I don't know if you'd call them contracts or whatever they are with businesses. We would like to get those out, whether it's the honor camp. I don't know if we do it at the police department. I know the refinery does it. We want to make sure that these waivers get sent out so that when them patrons do come in, they're not turned away because they haven't signed it by said date. Just so you're aware. But Jason.
And Teresa, and I don't know if we ever got a definitive question on district employees' family use.
Yeah, they've always been able to use it. The only ones they can't is the 24-hour use.
Okay, because I guess there are some weight room staff that do not know, or at least have told family members that they didn't know, so they were turned away.
I'm not really aware of that. Usually my staff is really good about texting me and asking me questions, and
They said they did.
Okay. I'd probably need specifics.
It was last week, my son, and
Oh, no, no, it wasn't that he was turned away. He was told to sign. I know about that. I forgot.
okay. Well, she said that they didn't know if he was covered or not.
No, and then she got a hold of me, but then
I think he was.
She told him he had to sign the waiver and the code of conduct, and he left.
Okay.
That's the story I was told.
Okay.
On the waiver, is there anything on there saying like how, like under fees, saying like if I was to come in and use it, I'm gonna use WRC as my company, right? So that's on the waiver, correct?
So the waiver doesn't list the companies only because that's ever changing, but in the sign-in sheet, I have a thing that says Weston County Refinery, the city of, like all the corporate are named on there.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is there any other discussions on the waiver or code of conduct? I do want to make it known. We do have a set of rules that we're trying to follow within our facilities. I do ask everybody who's using the facilities. They are the rules. I get they may not fit what you want, but they are the rules. And I do ask everybody that we follow those rules. Unless there's an extreme exception to it, I think that can be discussed at that time. But other than that, please, everybody follow the rules when it comes to pool usage, any kind of usage of our facilities. I've got nothing more on that part as of now. I do want to discuss, let me get back up to it. Policy KF-E. I don't know. I got it written down something different somewhere else. Oh, well, KF-E. I want to ask the board, this is to me, this seems like a school district policy. If I'm wrong, I have no problem with that, but with Senate File 90, I'm looking for some guidance. Is this something that we need to discuss, go through as a rec board, or does this need to go through the school district? Tyler, I'm going to go to you first, if that's okay.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Can someone explain to me? I'm not familiar with 90. What is 90 doing?
That's what I read to you,
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
that we have to charge differently now.
I'll try to get more next board meeting on Senate File 90. Beyond that,
Well,
I got to wrap my head around it myself. So,
and let me be clear, if we want to approve those documents today under current policy, we can certainly do that.
Well,
because there are no changes on here though, right? These are the ones we've been using.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
they're
wasn't
good.
looking for voting on or anything on this. I was more just making sure that you guys got the code of conduct, and because this is something that, because that new Senate file.
Yeah. So I think that we just need to know that we will need a new policy before and new agreements before July 1st.
correct.
Change to that.
Pretty sure I got that written down. Right.
What do we currently charge?
It depends on facilities, but it's like 200 if you want to use the gym, but we've never really enforced a charge.
Well, that was kind of my.
And when we've
if-
tried,
If we continue to not charge things, then you don't have to do anything, right?
Yeah, I think to your point, I think the part of why this was brought up was there was, I don't know if you want to call it a class, a training, whatever it was in the wrestling room, where some stuff did get damaged. I think that's what we were trying to do as a rec board, was protect school property by, we've talked about it in other things, if this is the policy we set forth, we probably need to stick with it. I mean, it's always nice to try to give somebody an exception, a little bit of leniency, but I think it's better for us to just stick with a policy instead of giving, if I help you out, now I got to help him out. So I think it's just better to stick with something. And I'm not saying that's ever happened, but that's my idea.
think we discussed, okay, when like soccer, whatever comes in and practices, we weren't going to do a charge, but tournaments, because the parking lot's packed, you got 500 participants and there's no charge to like AAU volleyball or whatever there may be. That was what we kind of had discussed about charging them facility use because that's heavy use and they will charge the patrons that are coming and participating. That was the discussion we had a few months ago.
Yep. Jason?
Well, I guess, Mr. Chair, we'll bring up, again, with the district trying to save money and all of that, is that something we need to revisit? Is going to a fee and charging organizations?
I think it really all depends on Senate File 90 and the understanding of that. Can we, what can we, is it even feasible for our school to do some of that stuff? Can we pay for it? I mean, we're starting to get sunk with some of this money, so I think it's everything we need to look at.
As I understand it, this lines out that we can only charge for what it is costing us for them to use it. Janitorial fees, utilities, water, insurance. I mean, we're gonna have to come up with some kind of rubric to figure out which thing costs what. They've just,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
they don't like bureaucracy, but they sure are great at.
Correct me if I'm
developing.
wrong. It almost has to be itemized out.
does.
Is that
It does.
what I understand? So
You have to provide an itemized list if requested.
now, and I don't know how to break that out, but I know Black Hills Power charges on kilowatt per hour. So what that looks like for just a gym, I'm not sure what that looks like for just a pool, a weight room, whatever that may be. Lights at the football field.
Mr. Chair, you gotta figure in again. Hallway lights. I mean, it's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about, so I'm going to use an example that happens. The Christmas cantata, they don't want to clean up afterwards. And so they say we want to pay janitorial fees. And so we send a janitor in there. They tell us, I work 2 hours, we take their wages, retirement, all that, and then we just bill them. That's what we've done. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Chairman, I think it's gonna kind of, as long as our itemized bill has some of those things they listed on it, and it is a true cost to us, we can decide if we are gonna break it down to exactly what the bill says, and the heating and the cooling and the toilet paper all gets charged, like, because that's what they said they wanted. It's a nightmare.
Okay. Adam, go ahead.
So you can undercharge, right? If it costs you $500, but you're only getting charged $200. All you gotta do is figure out your janitor's average wage. I can tell you exactly what an air handler burns up an hour. So I can tell you each section of each building, what it costs you an hour to run that air handler. Maybe not your lights, but you can eat the light bill and pay for some of it. You don't have to nickel and dime for every roll of toilet paper. It's going to cost you money, but you're going to recoup some of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the note I got
think
down.
You're
I'm going to
getting way
get
too complicated for what it needs to be.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying not to. I'm going to get with Therese. That's one of my notes to try to do. We'll get together and we might be reaching out to some people within the school to get an idea, because it should be something pretty quick and simple we could write up and throw some numbers in depending on hours. So it's just something we're going to have to work at. Is there any other discussion on policy KF-E or Senate File 90? Teresa, is there anything else you would like to discuss?
I think that was it.
All right, that's discussion items. Meeting adjourned.